Warning.
You are now tuned in to 7 Mile Radio.
Production.
7 Mile Radio.
What up, though? On another episode of Excuse My Truth podcast with Mac and Macho. Appreciate y'all tapping in with us.
You know what it is.
What's up, Mac?
What up? Macho?
I ain't never gonna complain. My baby, it's a beautiful day. Happy hump day. Happy Wednesday.
How was your day? How do you feel? I don't want to make the same mistake we made last time.
That part. Yeah. Well, you know, I appreciate you asking. It was a good day, productive. We learned the difference between busy and productive. You know what I mean? Like, and how to apply it in the corporate arena. So it was a pretty productive day. You know what I mean? Never complain. How was your day today?
It was productive as well, in my own way. It was productive.
Mark D, what's up, my boy?
Hey, same old shit, different toilet, man. You know me.
That's about to be a different toilet for real, though, when we move to the new building.
Most definitely.
Oh, that's right. We got
We got a headquarters now, y'all.
Yeah.
Playing with us.
Yeah. Happy hump day, happy Wednesday. Mac,
Yes.
you having a good week so far?
My week has been very well. Actually, it has been very well. Thank you.
Mark D, we got a new facility.
Most definitely, man. We got the 7 Mile Radio Media Complex is underway, man. We got a 11,000
Media Complex
square foot facility, man. We're gonna have a couple of different podcast rooms and our own event space and all kind of sweet shit going on.
We're gonna be able to go live 3 times.
Yeah. We have a couple more different engineers,
At
so
the same
you know
time.
how we have the.
I don't want no other engineer though.
Well, okay. Well, yeah, y'all
So
stuck with me.
we
Y'all stuck.
want to be in your room.
Okay, dig it.
The rest of
Mac already letting it be known.
She calling dibs on.
See, we can make.
Or in between the shows, this other show stops. We can start another show. Yep, there it is, just like that.
Congratulations.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
on tonight's episode of Excuse My Truth podcast, we want to talk about it. We're going to talk about the double standards of policing. Now, the angle that we want to talk about in terms of the double standards of policing is when we have seen the cases where white police have not only abused their badge, but they have taken the lives of unarmed and innocent black men. And in some cases, they get the benefit of getting the due process, right? Due process in the sense of sometimes they're laid off with pay, or they get, desk jobs, or, you know what I mean? But, sometimes they don't get any prosecution. They get found not guilty and get to go back to their normal lives whenever they've violated the rights of, the people. And in this particular case, we want to focus on black people. Shout out to Black History Month. But then we want to also note that in the similar incidents where there were 5 black police officers who were caught on video brutally beating a man who ended up dying from those injuries. They didn't really get due process, right? They were swiftly fired. Faces were put on, all of the media outlets, and we were able to have a court of public opinion, but the ramifications behind their actions were swift, even prior to any type of charges being brought. Everything happened at the same time. They got fired, got exposed. And charged. Immediately. So why is there a difference, I guess, in the sense of when a white police officer takes a life or violates or misabuses to power or the badge, they get due process, they get their day in court, they get to still provide for their families. But it wasn't the case with these 5 black officers who I don't think anybody on today's panel,
Period.
you know, agrees with these guys or think they were, you know, shouldn't have been,
They get
you
what
know,
they deserve.
it's fuck them, right? We ain't saying fuck all the police, but fuck them motherfuckers, all 5 of them, 6 or 7, however many that's still going to get caught. Fuck them all, okay? So we're not in any way justifying what they've done. We just, it's crazy that the way the judicial system is set up, that when there are
It's
5,
expeditious.
Yeah.
When it's black.
Yeah, because them motherfuckers, we knew exactly who did it and their names and their faces immediately.
Hey, remember when George Floyd was killed, right? Mm-hmm. When the report came up, and however many cops were there, you had this little grayed out image. Mm-hmm. It's not a picture; it's just a square, like it's a picture frame with just a gray image. And we're not gonna put their faces on the news
It's
just
like
yet.
the silhouette of a
You
man's
understand what I'm
head,
saying? Yeah. We're not going to expose their identities because we want to give them a little bit of time to get their affairs in order. We want to give them a little bit of time to protect their families from whatever backlash this may present, right? But that consideration is not given when it's those of our color. And so we would always say when we saw that, man, if those was black officers, they'd be in jail the next day.
And we
And
absolutely
that is
right.
exactly what happened.
And furthermore, right, when we have the white officers, when Macho spoke on sometimes where these officers are not even charged, right? Mm-hmm. During my investigation, this is before y'all joined the network when the George Floyd situation happened. I actually made the news because me and a partner of mine was going around interviewing the police chiefs of the suburban police departments. We went to Roseville. We went to we did the Wayne County Sheriff. We interviewed him. We interviewed the Royal Oak Police Department chief. A couple of other ones I can't remember, but maybe about 9 police chiefs, right? And one of the interesting things that I found out was that sometimes when some of these police officers are fired, they go back through something that's called an arbitrator. It's kind of basically like
A union rep.
kind of. I was going to say like a tip service for police officers, right? So now they go back through the arbitrator, and now after they just simply got fired from one precinct, and now they go back through the arbitrator and get hired at another precinct. So
Nobody's taking into consideration the complaints or the violations that they committed.
Exactly, because now you go back to you
they
at this
need
precinct and you are
officers.
fresh, you know, you have a fresh sheet. You know what I'm saying?
We
You
just
have a-
want bodies in the car.
in the car
We
and
just
in the
want bodies on the street,
we want badges on.
whether they're qualified or not. And that's the problem. What typically, in order for you to get assigned to a special unit, you have to have tenure. You have to have a certain amount of experience.
Credentials.
Explain to me why you got a 2-year rook on the Scorpion Squad that's supposed to go out and deal with the most dangerous of them all. Usually rookies go by the book because they're being assessed, they're being trained. And so you're going to do everything by the book. And when you remember Training Day?
Mm-hmm. Right.
That's a prime example. He was a rook. Denzel was a senior officer. He was training him. The rook didn't like the way he was training him. He turned. But these rookies today, and I found out in talking to one of my son's gymnastics member's father, who is a member of law enforcement on a higher level now. He started out as an officer, and now he's at a very, very high level of law enforcement. And he was saying that in his earlier years, when he joined the police department in Indiana, that he was one of very few black officers on the squad, right? Mm-hmm. And so then when they would go out and do runs or whatever, you know, there was this thing where, you know, if the officer did something and he didn't back him up, then you get blackballed. You're like a rat. Mm-hmm. And so if you're a rat, and if you're labeled a rat within that department, or if you labeled a person that doesn't go along with the get along, then he said he was in a situation where he responded to a call and nobody would back him up. So his life was essentially in danger because they did not understand why he was going by the book. They didn't understand why he did not back them up, even though they might have been incorrect. And so he got blackballed. And so if he went to a car and he called for backup, backup didn't come. And so it's almost like a culture where they force you to conform. And so I'm thinking about the 2-year rook that was part of that squad. Were you forced to conform? Were you afraid that if you did not engage or did not participate or did not support what was happening, that now you would be blackballed? Is that a thing?
It's a great
But that's
question.
what he told me though. And that was years ago. But it seems like it's still prevalent today.
That video was disturbing.
Yeah.
I mean, and it was so disturbing that his mom did a huge press conference prior to just asking the people to not see that, get enraged, and then tear the city up and riot and then loot, or you know what I mean, like, and rightfully so, because to see it, it created such a level of anger and disdain, and whereas if, and I get the topic, right, where there's a huge disparity in the way white officers get, you know, treatment behind them violating the badge versus these black officers. Now, I'm totally okay with how they expedited.
I am
like,
too, but I
bringing
think it
these
should be the standard across the board.
It has to be across the board,
You
because
can't just, because see, the thing is they're exposing themselves. The criminal justice system is exposing themselves. The police department is exposing themselves. Because if you can handle this matter as expeditiously as you did, you can handle them all the same way.
Right.
I know that certain circumstances probably require different things. But at the same time, when you have a blatant murder, caught
which
on
this
video,
was.
Blatant.
you know what I'm saying, caught on video, paid leave is not an option.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? White or black.
Rest in peace, Joyce Floyd.
Administrative duty is not an option.
Agreed.
White or black.
Agreed.
The same expeditious punishment and consequences that these black officers received.
Absolutely.
All the preceding white officers should have received the same
1000%.
expeditious
Swift
process.
justice.
Swift justice.
100%.
And so that's that. That's my whole point on that. That's my only point on that. to be very
I
frank.
absolutely agree with the point, because in lieu of the Rodney Kings, the Malice Greens,
Orlando Castillo.
like the ones that we know for a fact and we've seen, like, not, I mean, there's so many that we haven't
We
seen.
watched New York police just choke the shit out of a man and kill him. What was his name? In
Mike
New York,
Brown.
the man that was Mike
Yeah,
Brown.
Mike Brown, yeah.
Not Mike Brown. Was that wasn't Mike Brown? Mike Brown was the one that was on the ATV.
Yeah, you're right.
What was my man's name that was selling the Lucy's?
With the
outside?
loot, with the cigarettes.
Yeah. CDs.
You know what's sad is that it's so
many of them.
We can't remember the
And you,
fucking name.
and you know what's crazy is because this exact same point about this exact same person came up on another show. We were trying to remember his name, and we couldn't, and we
'Cause
said the
there's
same
so
point.
many. A new headline it's almost like a digital camera without memory. If I take another picture, then the picture that's on there is going to drop off.
It's sad that it happens so often
You
that
understand?
it's hard to even remember a name, because as quickly as we were mourning that when another black person lost their life,
Eric Garner.
Eric Garner.
Garner.
Thank you.
right?
Yeah.
Another black guy lost his hand.
Now we saw them choke him out.
Saw him.
Why was there all this paid leave and all this delay and potential charges? And were there
Man.
ever charges in that? Were they?
No,
ever
I think
prosecuted?
they got acquitted. I don't think they went to jail. If I
Yeah,
remember,
that's what I'm saying. It's
that
like-
that was one of the ones that they got off.
Or is it because now this was in Memphis, right? So Memphis,
Memphis, Tennessee.
is more heavily urbanized. Is that safe to say?
certain areas, just
Certain
like
areas.
any
Than
other
New
city
York?
or
Okay.
state. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
But in this particular part that they're in, because this is a special unit, so I'm assuming that this
It's
is
a
in the
high
hood.
crime area.
So this part of Memphis is in the hood, right?
It was equivalent to our gang squad.
It's
That's
equivalent
100%.
to our jump out boys.
Right. Right. Narcos, you know what I mean? Like
Right.
them boys. And true to form, same here. You run
They
from
will-
the
they
motherfucking
gonna
police,
beat
they will
your
beat your ass.
ass.
Okay, it's no fucking secret. These
And you want to know why? Because they're allowed to.
yeah, but we talked about this before. Like, and let's be very clear, because I have friends that are police officers, I have family
Me
that's
too.
police officers, so that's why I don't get to screaming "fuck the police," because all police aren't bad. But we all know that cornball in high school who all of a sudden become a police officer. Now he the toughest motherfucker on planet Earth. You know what I mean? Like we know these guys. I went to school with those types. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, we deal with those types. Okay. Now, unfortunately, for those, rest in peace to dog who just lost his life. But even on the way over here, my cousin was telling me about a story where he had a rundown with a police officer. And again, last time he caught a case or whatever, he's like, he didn't have anything on him, nothing whatsoever. The police officer came up and put his arm up under his nutsack and lifted him up and just body slammed him on his head and then invited him to get up. And my cousin said he responded to him like, you just dropped me on my fucking head. Like, what do you mean get up? Like, I can't even, my equilibrium. Like, I'm like, really? But I'm saying that to say, like, what was that for, though? Like, just you trying to prove a fucking point? Like, and we deal with that so often. I got harassed by a fucking state trooper. I used to go live. Somebody was asking me about this the other day. Like, whatever happened? I said, I'm convinced that I was fucking this bitch. I'm convinced that I hit that man's, like, his bitch because he was just harassing me for no fucking reason. Like, for no fucking reason. Like, oh, you made a right turn and didn't use your blinker. Motherfucker, that's not even possible for me. Because that's a habit. Like, my blinker stay on too long. Like that's how, you know what I mean?
Even after the turn.
Even after the motherfucking turn. So, like, at this point, it's harassment. I went and I filed a complaint. I had to go to the state troopers, filed a complaint. I reached out to a buddy of mine. Shout out to Lynn.
Did you get a response?
I did. I got a response from the lieutenant. Right, the lieutenant reached out to me, but I never pursued it because after I went and made the complaint, he never fucked with me again.
Okay. Because I mean, but see, that's that accountability, and then the other problem I have with this case is the chief. The black female chief of police, when she saw the video, oh no, we got to fire them immediately. When the prosecution's office saw that, oh no, we got to charge them immediately because this is about to create an uproar. It's not that, and the problem is there were so many complaints coming in about this Scorpion unit, and those complaints went unaddressed. And so now this Scorpion unit has gone too far. Now you want to throw them under the bus. They need to be thrown under the bus.
So, like, complaints of, like, excessive force, abuse.
Complaints of excessive force. The Demetrius Haley, the one who is suspected of having the baby mama and all that type of stuff, he has several complaints against him. For
talk about that because we didn't mention that right now. We didn't mention that.
He has several complaints.
So allegedly,
prior to him, no, it's not alleged.
Oh, so
these are
no, not about
this
him. I'm
public
talking
record.
about the guy and the baby mama. Allegedly,
Tyree was supposed to be dating, kicking it with, or fucking my man Demetrius Haley's baby mama.
which is one of the police officers.
Which is one of the police officers.
Wow.
It was the one that was rocking him while the other two guys was holding him.
Wow.
Yeah.
So his baby mama was getting fucked by Doggy Bone.
That's
Allegedly.
alleged.
Allegedly. Okay.
Now, the father or stepfather has since gone on and come public and gone on TMZ and said that he was not messing with his baby mama. But how many 29 grown-ass men you know talk to their stepdaddy about who they fucking? Or who they fucking with?
Right.
He a grown-ass man.
Right.
There's a whole lot of shit you ain't gonna know.
Facts.
You cannot definitively say that. And I'm not saying that is definitively true. But you cannot definitively refute that without this man or this woman saying such. So
only
just
person that
because
can-
you said it doesn't make
Only
it
person that
factual.
can combat that is her.
It's her.
But see, it would be like, since it was alleged that the cop took a picture of this man's
And-
body
and
and sent
sent-
it
and
to her,
texted it to
that
her.
will be on record. I
Yeah,
would believe
that's
they'll be
something
able to
that can
find
be
that.
substantiated. Right?
Facts.
So that's alleged.
And them records, them towers,
Which
ping
would give
everything.
credence to and give at least an explanation as to the behavior. Because my thing is, if this was a traffic stop, and I'm looking at the little traffic light icon or a little display over here. If this was a traffic stop, I have never been approached for a traffic stop and just you came to my car, opened my door, and said, "Get the fuck out," before you asked me for my license, registration, and proof of insurance.
I'm gonna pause you for 1 second
I've
because
never.
but then-
It happened.
do you guys remember in the video at the end when these motherfuckers was like talking about it?
Yeah, he
I
took
was
a swing
rocking
at
him.
me.
Bro.
He was
took a
rocking
swing
him.
at me. He
You was
almost
rocking
hit
him, and he
me.
wasn't going
He
down.
went for my gun.
Gun. He had his hands
But
on
see,
his
that's
gun.
because
On the gun,
in
yeah.
hindsight they realized that body cam was on.
Yeah.
So they had to justify their actions. So if I can get this audio
Because
recording,
one angle, he left his body cam on the fucking ground the whole
yeah,
time.
If
Yep.
I can
And
get
didn't even go back
this-
and get it to afterward because he
he
knew.
Yeah, if I can get this audio on the body cam recording, then it can justify our behavior, it can justify our actions, it can justify our use of force. That was the whole purpose of that 3-minute huddle they had over there, where that man was sitting up against the car, passing out unconscious over and over, while he dropping and y'all come lifting back up. Give him
Right.
some medical attention.
Lift him up and beat him up some more.
You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy that they didn't get that guy no medical attention.
Y'all was trying. But see,
They
they
said the
cops
medical-
know.
the-
Some
the-
cops
the-
know what to say.
The first responders was on hand maybe what they said 27 minutes and shit before they started rendering help.
Well, no, there was 27 minutes from the time that they were called. It was
Until the time
actually
they got
23 minutes. It was 23 minutes from the time that they were called to the time that he was put on the gurney.
Oh, okay.
So the initial fire EMTs that showed up that did not immediately render him any aid,
They're fired
those
too.
3 of them were fired. But the ambulance drivers that came with the gurney that put him on the ambulance, when they got there, they tended to him immediately. But then there was a span from the time that he was propped up against that car and
That
the time
nobody-
that he took off in an ambulance. It was 20 plus minutes for somebody that probably had a closed head injury.
Absolutely. Severe head trauma.
You know what I mean?
Bro, that video was so disturbing, and we talked about this because even when you see, like, the police officer, like, the whole Rodney King, and that was the first that I recall as watching or seeing the police, like, beat somebody, you know what I mean?
Alice Green.
Yeah, but to watch these guys, bro, like, this guy was, when they stood him up, he was already cuffed.
He wasn't
Yeah.
cuffed.
Or they had him
And
detained.
so what I did
His
find
hands
out,
was
no, he
behind his
wasn't
back.
detained.
Well, in the sense of they had him, like
what I
it
found
looked
out
like he was
today,
cuffed.
he was already out of it, though.
what I found out today from the high-level law enforcement officer is that you're not detained until you're in cuffs. You're not in custody, rather, until you're in cuffs. You can be detained, but you're not in custody until you're cuffed. So at the time the officer was rocking him,
Because he was already out of it on the ground. They had to lift him up.
No, I'm talking about why they had him stood up.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
When
So,
they had him stood up and they had his hands behind
had
him, he
his
wasn't
back.
cuffed. One was holding this hand behind his back. The
And the
other
other
one
one,
was holding
it was
this
two
hand.
cops
He wasn't
holding
cuffed.
him,
He
yeah.
wasn't
so it
in
just
custody.
appeared, it looked like
They were allowing this
The
other
other
guy to
cop
just
to-
rock him,
Yeah.
and they were acting as if he was resisting because he's trying to remove his hands from them
'Cause
to
y'all
protect
protect him,
himself.
right.
Not because he's resisting, but because he's trying to protect himself. So, the question I have is, why was not Hemphill, the one white officer who was also assigned to the Scorpion Crew? This is what, let me go back. This is what I found out about this Scorpion Crew. The Scorpion Crew was designed to go out and handle and address the crime in the high crime areas, right? And they strategically placed more black officers on this crew in a black neighborhood because it would be more acceptable for black officers to rough up black people. If we put a whole bunch of white officers on this Scorpion Crew in a black neighborhood, and we gave them the license to go out and rough people up,
it's gonna cause
it's
a riot
going to create
immediately.
a uproar.
Immediately.
And so what these officers don't even realize is you were pawns. You
Straight
were
up.
used.
Straight up.
We're going to put the black officers on this unit to go out and rough up the black people in this hood because we don't want political gander or jargon, and we don't want political uproar. So you have a token few white people on this unit. but the majority of them were black. So we're going to send you out into the hood. We're going to give you a license to go out and be a little extra because it's acceptable for black on black.
But even the white officer, if he's the one that pepper sprayed him, like even when you look at his role.
Did you see how close range he
Yes.
pepper sprayed that man?
Yes, he did it to the
To
extent where
the
he tried to
extent that
blind
the rest
his
of the
ass.
officers were impacted by the pepper spray.
Right.
Man.
What training did you undergo? And what I want to know is if you saw this same video and you saw these 5 officers do this, but you saw this officer do this and you heard this officer say this, what took so long for you to plaster his face up against the camera or on the media the same way you see? It was necessary to disclose the identity of these people because one, they were black, and then y'all can't say shit.
Making an example out of
You understand what I'm saying? And then 2, it's necessary for us to disclose them because what? I mean, we gotta do something so the city don't just get burnt down. We gotta let them know it wasn't white officers.
Yep,
we gotta let them know y'all
100%.
did this shit to yourselves. But when it's white officers, because Hemp Hill was one of the 7, you had to see that on the video. That's probably why the nigga got up and ran to the second location.
That's why, because
understand
they
what I'm
immediately
saying?
just drug him out, just ripped him out the car, and
Ripped him
started
out the
tasing
car.
him.
He's unaware.
Macing him.
He calm as fuck. Okay, I'm on the ground. You guys are doing a lot right now.
Yep, he said that.
You're not supposed to do that. You know what I'm saying? These are the things he's saying to them as he's on the ground. He understood what time it was. So he got up and ran. He wasn't fleeing and looting. He was running for his
home.
fucking life.
He was
Mama!
running home. He was 3 houses away
Mama!
from his house.
Mama! He was hoping she heard him. And then when they caught back up to him, it was lights out, bro. You scared me to the point that I ran, but you mad that I ran into where you beating my ass. Because in the police culture, if you run, if you make me chase you, I'm going to beat your ass.
And why is that? Why
And
is
then
that?
you must be guilty of
Where my
something.
guy
That
Tom
means you
at?
must be
Tom,
guilty. That
where
means you
my
must
guy
got
at?
something. That means you must
Text
be on
Tom.
some
I'm about to
bullshit.
text Tom. Tell Tom to call in. I want to know that.
Somebody called Sam. Sam.
Bernstein?
No, not Bernstein.
Oh, you said call Sam
No,
and shit.
it's I think we mutual friends with him. Sam Bullock. He's a police officer. He's almost about to be retired. Let me look at some of these comments while you're looking for that, Macho. Todd said,
Did the
did the
white
white
officer
officer
get
get
charged
charged yet? No, they're not charged. Neither of the 2 officers. The one that they finally revealed his identity. And this is the thing. A lot of times they give officers time to get their affairs in order. They give officers time to get their families somewhere safe before the shit hit the fan, right? I still don't understand why this officer, while he may not have made it to the second location where the beating happened, you were part of the reason why this man had to run for his life. You sprayed him and then you heard on your audio, I hope they stomp his ass. Why did it take so long for us to see your face?
Why did you hope that they stomped him? What did he? What did
You
he
don't
do?
even know what the fuck this is about.
What
That's
did he
the
do
thing.
that warranted the stomping? Because he got away from you and you wanted to tase him out and shit, right?
That's the thing.
So even if he was guilty of what you put him over for, that was warranted to
Is
be
that
stomped
warrant
out.
to be beat to death?
To be stomped. He said, "I
But
wish
see,
they
sometimes
stomp him."
when backup officers see you only see, and this is what I learned from the senior officer as well. He said, when you're a backup officer and you hear that call over the radio, all you hear is we got a runner. All you hear is we got a fighter. All you hear is we got somebody that's resisting. So by the time you come upon the scene, you're just reacting to what you heard on the radio, not the actual facts of the situation. And so the person that gave the false information on the radio is responsible for the behavior of the officers that's trying to back them up.
She said the goal was to eliminate both the officers and the young black male. I mean, listen. I mean, when
That's
you
the ultimate goal.
yeah, I mean, cause literally, like, and if this story is true, I mean, Ty said they both worked at FedEx together. So if this story is true, that dog was smashing dog baby mama, and there's ain't no oops, no mistake, no just coincidence that no like that at that point, and that's why. So we were talking earlier, and D-Mac was educating me on like premeditated murder, because my thing is if we find out that this story is one where they had issues, like, and he rode down on that man with the intention of beating him like that. Like I get they might not be able to charge him for first degree premeditated, but they're gonna like fry him. Like he has to get fried.
He gonna get the maximum penalty under that.
They don't have the death penalty
murder.
in Texas. I mean in Memphis.
You can't
lethal
get death.
injection.
You can't get death penalty unless you're charged with first degree intentional murder, premeditated murder. You can't get death
But he
penalty
ain't gonna
on
survive
second
on
degree
the.
murder.
He gonna be on the yard. He gonna be in general.
I just say put him in gen pop.
yeah,
That's
general
That's the
population.
death penalty right there. Because I guarantee you, wherever they put you, nigga, y'all's group done fucked with somebody in that bitch. And they gonna find out you part of that Scorpion crew that killed that black man, and your ass is done.
Yeah, you toasties.
Your ass is fried.
You're done. Like that shit is so disturbing. Like, and I wanted to watch it with with the unction of knowing that it was about to be like stomach turning. Because to even like when you see his mom, like see that's the thing, man. Like anybody, like I'd say it proudly, like I'm a mama's boy. You know what I mean? Like the worst thing on planet Earth for me is hearing my mom cry. Like that is one of the worst fucking feelings ever. So to see that mom, and when she cried like that cry, oh my God, like a parent should never have to experience that. Ever. Like even now when you know they about to be rich for the rest of their lives, because they're going to own this motherfucking city. This civil lawsuit going to break that motherfucking city. Okay? But you can't replace like that. It don't like don't no parent want that money. Don't no parent want that type of come up. Not that.
Not that way.
Not that.
You know.
Like that shit is that like to watch that video and to see these dudes do this though, bro. Like that shit was bold. Like on like and you there's not even a word, like you can't even find the worst word to say to make it sound even worse than that, because that's what it was like to watch that shit, bro. Like,
well, you know what it looked like? It looked like a episode out of motherfucking It looked like an episode out of motherfucking what's that popular show on HBO? Or used to be a popular show on HBO? Little crime show, drugs with the Scoop girl, Snoop girl.
The Wire.
The Wire. To where niggas just, meet up with a nigga, they find this nigga slipping on a block, and then they just beat the fuck out.
That's how them little fight DVDs used to be though. Like the little, you know what I'm saying, the hood brawl DVDs and shit. Where
Kimbo
you just
slice ass on there.
Nothing about police work
is that
should have been that. No.
And that's what even make it. And listen, and we talk about the way they set this shit up, right? And they got these 5 black officers, but that's what even make it worse, though, right? Like we talk about them killing us. What the fuck? We killing our own though?
But I think
That
that's
shit set us
another
back.
reason why they were so expeditious about putting it out. Because
Most
hold up,
definitely.
let's
Most
let
definitely.
you know it ain't just
It ain't
us
us.
white cops killing y'all. Y'all killing y'all. The same way y'all kill y'all in the hood, y'all kill y'all on this
Man.
police department.
Yeah.
And these guys don't
And then
understand.
how many cases, right? That's one that was not only high profile, but it was even reported by the news. How many of these? We know as many
we don't
cases
even hear about it.
about the white officers. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
How many cases, and even possible? Well, I ain't gonna say Detroit because we don't really happen in the city. We know that in other cities, right, where black officers are guilty of this type of atrocity. We that just don't make the news and don't make this this is not this high profile of a story at the same time.
So the officer that I was talking to today, he was saying that a lot of times, they basically tell you to go out and do this shit. And then when you go out and do it, and you over exert, as in this case, now it's like
Now they
no.
fry you.
Now it was just the worst thing I've ever seen. But no, you gave them a license to go out there and brutalize because you want to drop crime. Because if you drop crime, you stay
Make you look
chief,
good.
and you're reelected as chief. It's political. The mayor elects the chief that can prove that they can reduce crime. The reason that they produce these special units because they want to decrease crime. And if you have a plan of action that you can present to the presenting mayor that says, "Oh, this is my plan to help reduce crime," then okay, you're going to elect me as chief. I'm going to empower this unit to go out and do whatever they got to do to reduce crime. And then when they do whatever they got to do to reduce crime, and they go too far, because you've not addressed any of the complaints about them because you've licensed them to go do what they do.
You definitely gave
Now
them
the
fucking
rest
green
of the
light.
department is looking at you crazy. Because you told us to go out here and do this shit.
And is this chief of police black?
Yes, it's a female black woman. And you told the mayor that you could decrease crime. The whole purpose of a chief being elected is if you have a plan that can justify or demonstrate that you can reduce crime in that area. That's why they elect you. The mayor appoints the chief. And he appoints the chief based on your ability or your perceived ability to reduce crime. And most times you have to have a plan that you present to them. You have to tell them this is how we're going to do it. We're going to present the Scorpion
So
unit.
the Scorpion
They're gonna
unit
go
was
out.
part of the reason why she got elected, and now
You know what I'm saying? And so now because that was the reason you got elected, when the
'cause you were gonna-
complaints
'cause
came
you were
in,
gonna implement that.
yeah, when the complaints came in, you didn't address them. And so you didn't address them until they went too far. They only went too far because they've never had consequence.
Right. they've
If they had
been running
2
rampant.
days, two days before Tyree was killed, Demetrius Haley
Right.
snatched another nigga out his car,
heard about that
beat the
shit.
fuck out of him. The dude called to complain, made a complaint, followed up, and called back 2 times. He called to complain about this officer unlawful use of force. Nothing was done. 2 days later, Tyree was killed.
Wow.
So I'm not impressed with you
And
firing them immediately.
Is this the
same
FedEx
chief.
baby daddy?
It's the same guy.
That's what I'm saying. That's Demetrius.
Yeah. When he was a correctional officer, he beat the brakes off this nigga, dislocated something. He was part of a 20-some million lawsuit against the correctional facility he was working for.
Oh wow.
So this is you, my baby. This is your character. This is your nature. You have a history of complaints.
So he find out the baby mama getting donkey punched. You know what I'm saying by Doggy Bone. See him in traffic like, oh shit, there go that whole ass nigga. Skirt skirt. And dog like.
Yeah, this nigga driving recklessly.
know what I'm
Whatever
saying?
you had to say to these niggas to give up their whole motherfucking life and career.
Right, because let's say for instance he wasn't driving recklessly. Because did we see the video? Like, don't they got dash cam footage and all that shit?
The chief of police said she
watched
seen the
dash
video
cam
and there
she
was
said
no
there was
evidence
no
of it.
evidence of reckless driving. And if you look at the character of this man that they're presenting, this was like, I mean, for all intents and purposes and no disrespect, a cornball ass nigga, dog. Like, for real, he was a skateboarder. He was a photographer. He wasn't no thug.
He was a
wasn't
good
about
listener.
He wasn't about
He was
that
a
life.
good listener. That's how he got the baby mama.
You know what I'm saying? He wasn't about that life.
So now dude feel that way for real. Now,
So
oh,
you
got-
targeted a nigga that ain't even about that life, and then you could tell he wasn't about that life the way he was cooperating on the ground.
Now, did we get the autopsy report enough say there wasn't no drugs in his body? Because they was trying to make it like this nigga was on
He was
acid.
high, right? Like he was
Like he
high.
was on
That's why
acid
he
or
No.
something. Like he
So
was the
when they
strongest,
caught-
skinny
check
nigga
this
they
out.
He
ever
wouldn't go
met.
down because y'all holding him up.
I ain't
this
never
out.
met nobody that strong.
When they called his mama, when the police called his mama, you know what the police told her? We pulled him over for a DUI.
And he don't drink.
And his mom was like, he don't even drink like that. What you mean a DUI? And then they said, I mean, they downplayed it like a motherfucker. Like, yeah, so he gonna have to go to the hospital. And then after he goes to the hospital, he's gonna be booked at the department. But they didn't tell her how grave it was until the police showed up at her door.
Wow.
And then there was this false police report that was full of all bullshit.
A false
they can
police
cut-
report.
When they came back to the station to make their report, it was all type of falsehoods in that bitch. They said the nigga swung on them, tried to reach for their gun to justify their beating his ass. And so once the video, and what I can't understand is your body cams were on, bro. The camera caught you're the Scorpion unit. You know where these cameras are situated.
Big ass camera right there on the pole. That
With
says
a blue ass light.
says MPD. It was
With a blue ass light. Y'all know where y'all chasing this nigga to. Y'all didn't give a fuck. Because you wanna know why you didn't give a fuck? Because ain't shit ever happened to them before. All the complaints that came into them that were unaddressed gave them the liberty and the right to do what the fuck they did.
They didn't think he was gonna die.
But see, that's a whole asinine perspective to even have. If you think you can kick a nigga in the head the way you did, fight a nigga, punch a nigga defenseless the way you did.
So to say that says it's like, okay, let's beat this nigga into an inch of death because we don't think he's gonna die by
You're
all
not
this
a
shit that
medical
we did.
professional. But what as an officer,
Y'all giving him straight blow, and all y'all was big. Every
dog,
last one of them was bigger than him.
Bigger than him.
rocking this nigga.
Every last one of them was
And that's the
way
part they
bigger
were
than
saying.
him,
That's
bro.
the part that they were saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I was rocking him, you was rocking him. He just wouldn't go down because y'all holding the nigga up. Y'all picking him
holding
back
him
him up.
up.
Y'all.
Even when my man kicked him like he was kicking the motherfucking field goal, y'all lifted him up so the man could do it. He was on the fucking ground.
You hear my man saying, "Watch out, watch out, watch out,
Yeah,
move, watch
two
out."
of them lifted him up, and he just kicked like for 3 points. What makes you think that your actions could not produce death when you're blowing and punching and kicking a nigga that's defenseless because you're
And
creating
then brought the
defenseless.
baton out, beating him in the
And
back.
you beating him in the back with the baton. One nigga kicking him in the head, another nigga punching him in the head. Why are y'all officers if y'all don't think this behavior can produce death? Now, if y'all get up there and act like y'all just dumb as fuck, because the only requirement to get you convicted of second-degree murder is that you knew that your actions could possibly produce death. Now, you want to tell me y'all that motherfucker stupid? And that's what the fuck y'all want us to believe? That y'all didn't think pummeling a man could possibly kill him? What y'all think? The only thing that's gonna kill a nigga is a gun?
Is a bullet.
Them boys is fucked up. They gonna go. Them boys ain't gonna survive. Them boys.
I grant you this. Some of them probably ain't gonna make it to trial because they're gonna take themselves up out of here. Because they're not gonna be able to handle being imprisoned with the people because it's quite a. And then the other thing is they're gonna have to review all the cases. All the
Then they may
arrests.
find out charges while they're in prison and give them more
them
time.
niggas flight
Yeah.
risk. They ain't giving them.
They're
them
gonna
niggas
get.
flight risk.
They're gonna review every single case that this Scorpion unit has presented to the prosecutor, and I grant you that a lot of those cases are gonna be overturned for lack of their credibility.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Weirdos.
You know what I'm saying? But
Carla. Hey, Carla. Yeah, they was definitely the big foe. Them boys was, they was Scorpion Squad. Them boys was out there laying deadly stings on boys, like
shit,
deadly,
they was
literally.
the big seven.
But listen, what do scorpions do? A scorpion sting will kill you.
It will kill you.
You know what I'm saying?
And it's very
then-
interesting that that's their name. It's symbolic. We the Death Squad.
Because that's exactly what a scorpion you do. You get hit by a scorpion, you're done.
And then since they dismantled the Scorpion unit right now, what does that mean? Because the
Nothing.
thing about it is
Not
these
nothing.
cops can still be out there operating in the same, the same way without the title, the Scorpion unit.
It's not
and then
the
they
Scorpion
make the
unit.
Snake unit
It's
now.
the culture of the department.
Basically, that's what I'm saying. They can still be out there doing the same shit without the title, the Scorpion unit.
My man told me today, he was like, you know what? When we get complaints, we get all kind of complaints. We get complaints about people that got pulled over and because they ran a red light and they complaining. And so a lot of that shit just goes into a pile and is never addressed. They complaint upon complaint upon
Yeah, a
complaint.
bunch of people
Some of
complaining
them are
about bullshit.
substantial, some of them are menial, but because there's so many of them,
Mm-hmm.
they get unaddressed. And so that was the fault. That was the failure here. It's like you had people complaining. You had the community asking for this unit to be disbanded. You had all these things, but you
And y'all
refused to
ignored
do
them.
it until a motherfucker died. Now you want to be expeditious because you trying to cover your own ass.
So she ain't gonna get her. She ain't
She
coming
needs
back.
to resign because she's not going to get reelected.
This happened on your watch, and you knew it. This was your sanction.
You knew there was a problem
your
with this
squad.
unit,
Squad that
and
you
did
put
not
together.
This
address
was your
it.
baby.
Yeah, you didn't address it.
You ain't disciplined your baby. Your baby done turned around and killed somebody. You held accountable as the parent.
The saddest part, though, is what I said a little while ago. They selectively chose niggas to be on this crew. Because only niggas can police niggas without scrutiny. If we put a Scorpion crew together of a bunch of white niggas and send them out into the hood and like go be aggressive, that shit ain't gonna fly. They gonna get killed. Or there's gonna be riots and
Yeah.
ranting and raving.
The first nigga that they kill is gonna be
You know what I'm
another Missouri.
Yeah. And the sad part is y'all thought y'all was somebody because y'all were part of this crew and you wasn't nothing but a pawn on a chessboard that don't mean shit.
And where
They
this
used y'all for political purposes to reduce crime, which keeps me as chief, which keeps him as mayor.
So shit, the mayor may not. This may affect the mayor too. Then
You know what I mean?
right?
It affect the mayor.
Carla said, "I thought she was put there to clean up the police because they knew it was a problem."
no, ain't that a bitch? If that's
No,
the case,
she was put there. Anytime a police chief, let me tell you, the primary reason a police chief is elected or appointed is because they have proven or at least have a plan to help reduce crime better than all their other counterparts. That's the whole reason they elected the police chief, because you have a plan that's going to reduce crime in the city. If you reduce crime in the city, then it makes me look good as a mayor. See, people don't be understanding the underlying shit that's going on. We looking at the surface shit, the beating. We're looking at the death. But there's an underlying problem, and the underlying problem is culture and politics. But nobody really wants to address that because we want to just look at, ooh, you know, and just react. No, think about what the fuck really going on.
Makes sense. It absolutely makes sense because them motherfuckers got swift justice.
To do that shit with your body cam on and to do that shit knowing you'd be being recorded by a tower camera that's catching everything. You don't
a
give
camera
a fuck
put there
because
by
you-
the police with a big ass police
yeah, so
light
you
on
gotta
it.
know that that's there. So you didn't give a fuck because you weren't required to give a fuck. Wasn't nothing ever done about shit y'all ever did. So why the fuck you think something gonna happen today? They didn't. They figured they could do whatever the fuck they wanted to do because they had a license to do it.
We always get away with it.
We always get away with it.
Damn.
Your dumb ass.
That's what greed do.
And then you're dumber to think you're gonna get away with the shit white cops get away with.
Still nigga.
You still black, my baby.
You
And we
still
always
black, my
said,
baby.
like we said at the beginning of the show, if it was black cops, they'd have been got arrested and,
We say
and
that
fired
every single
and
time.
charged. And the moment it happened,
Prove
that
us right.
shit went swiftly. And I'm not suggesting by any means that it should not have. What I am suggesting is that let's let that be the standard across the board, irrespective of the race of the police officer. That's how I feel. How you feel, Macho?
So, you know, I think when you think about, like, because again, I got friends and family that's police officers, you know what I mean? So all police officers not bad, like, in any way, shape, or form. And the whole thought behind tonight's topic is, we just feel like these white motherfuckers that's out here doing this dumb shit and having zero regard for human life and more zero regard for black human life, you know, needs to get that same swift motherfucking attention. Okay?
Put
Okay.
their faces on the news.
Yeah.
Right
Friday
after
ass
you
too.
see
They
the
shouldn't
video.
still be able to provide for their families off the taxpayers' fucking dollars. Because that's who you're supposed to be
Nah,
protecting
I
and
don't
serving.
think they need to be able to provide for that.
Absolutely not.
I
So
don't
they
think
shouldn't
they-
either. That's
yeah.
all we're saying.
None of
So
them
we're not listen. We're glad that they move swiftly on these motherfuckers.
But move swift across
But move
the board.
move swift with them. We for all intents purposes. I don't want to be on the FCC commission, so I ain't gonna say. You know, look at the discipline Macho got. Like that's how you know we was built for this shit. But anyway, yeah, we just want it to be equal. You know what I mean? That's it. Like Friday ass, just the way y'all fry these motherfuckers who deserve to be fried.
Who deserve to be
And
fried.
now I'm excited to see them get, you know what I mean, real motherfucking. I want to see how the justice system really gonna work now when Black Lives. But the moral of the story too, police officers too, please stop abusing your fucking power.
That's all I was just about to say. And then when it comes to the police killing people, right? We just want you all
That's
to
it.
not kill us, like
Don't
you
kill
don't,
us.
like you
don't
don't
wanna
kill,
be
the, like you
killed.
don't kill the white people that get you
Yeah.
pull over,
You
right?
could have a whole motherfucker with a whole rifle pointed at you and you talking this nigga down. You don't want to do this, Tom. If it was Robert or Macho, he'd be like, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? Nigga, ain't no question. You got a gun, we justified in shooting you. There's no negotiation, there's no de-escalation, there's no talking down.
And that's very unfortunate, very sad that that's the common denominator amongst the people. That's the consensus, is that every scenario where you see where a unarmed black man loses his life, it's typically at the hands of a white officer.
Typically.
And
But
now
the moment it's at the
and-
hands of a
and-
black officer, it's ooh.
at the
yeah,
hands
they're
of
thugs.
5,
They're a
6
gang.
black,
They're
like
criminals.
that shit is
They
such
are.
that
So
shit is
are
such
they.
a tragedy in our community, because back to the point where they basically saying to y'all there, y'all talking about we kill y'all kill y'all too. Right? Like y'all look what y'all do to y'all.
Yeah.
Look at this. Look what
But
y'all
they-
do to
that-
y'all
that-
people.
But look at it politically. They had to hurry up and put them black faces on the screen.
Hurry the fuck up. And
They had to, because if we don't, one, we possibly create the narrative that this black man was killed by white cops, because that's the general practice.
Right, because that's the norm.
You
Because that's the
understand what I'm
norm.
We
saying?
gotta put
So
that
we
out
gotta
there
put
to
that
stop
out
the
there
black
to
people
stop
from
the black
rioting.
people from going ham.
Yeah.
And so notice they didn't tear that city up.
Exactly.
They didn't tear that city up.
Mm-hmm.
That was the group that listened to the family and said, "Be peaceful."
And we glad.
But as a community, why do we have more tolerance though? If we want the police to be handled equally, why do we have more tolerance for black on black crime than we have for white on black crime? Whether it comes at the hand of a nigga in the hood or a police officer in
Right.
the hood.
It still happened.
So we can't expect society to
do us better than we
regard
do
us better than
ourselves.
we do ourselves.
Most definitely.
We not gonna burn up the city because it was black cops. It wasn't black cops. It wasn't white cops. We not gonna burn up the city because, oh shit, we did this shit to ourselves.
Right.
We only gonna burn up the city when one of y'all fuck us up. So I ain't saying the society or the community is right either.
Right. Yeah. No. But it makes a great point. Yep, makes a great point. But and when you think about like in Detroit, like again, we know it. Like again, we've all seen it. We know it. It happened. There is no motherfucking urban legend that if you run from the police when they catch you, they fucking
gonna
you
rough
up.
your ass up.
Okay, they gonna fuck you
But
up.
don't give me a reason to run for my life, nigga.
Right.
The
Man.
fuck? I don't know what side you on.
I remember being
y'all
in
snatch
middle
me out my
school.
car, beat me on the ground, spray me at close range. You
It's a
think I'm not
difference
gonna try to
between me
save my
running
whole life?
because I just robbed a bank or I
You know
did
what I
some
mean?
kind of crime and
I
I don't
ain't
want to
even
get
do
caught.
nothing. I don't
You
even know-
pulled me over for a traffic stop and now you ran up to my car with the gun out.
Get the fuck out the car.
Snatched me out the
Fuck.
car.
Reckless
driving?
And then
Snatched him
and
out.
then you tased me. I'm out of here,
tased
man.
me, sprayed
Sprayed me, tased me,
Snatched
maced
him
me.
the fuck up.
I'm running and I'm calling for my mama.
I didn't do shit.
Facts.
He's like, I didn't even do anything. I'm trying to go home. What's happening?
Facts.
He on the ground like, you guys are doing a lot right now. Like, you're not supposed to do that. Okay, I'm on the ground. Okay, I'm on the ground. So he's trying to de-escalate while the officer continues to
Continues
escalate.
to escalate the shit.
Where's the fucking training?
And then when I get up and try to get the fuck out, you call for backup, and these motherfuckers
motherfuckers show up, and they show up
And they
because
kill
all they
him.
hear is we got a runner. And so when they know it's a runner, we gotta come beat this nigga's ass.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cause you made us chase you, nigga. But how about the reason why I'm being chased? Nigga, you made me run for my life.
It's a lot of people with that story too, though. Carla, she said I've never had a. She said the crazy part is, I've never had a run in with a. She said I've never had a bad run in with a white cop. It's always the black ones that have been the nastiest to me. That have been nasty to her.
And it usually is the black female ones.
Oh yeah, to the women. I hear that all the time. The black female cops
They
are.
so motherfucking asshole-ish. And I'll be like, listen, baby girl, you still a woman. You don't have to be macho. You don't have to do all that extra shit. Do your job. And just do your job. But you out here like you just rah, 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 rah. And you wonder why ain't nobody respecting your little bitch ass.
And she wasn't saying be me, y'all. She was just using my name as the word. You know what I'm saying? To describe what Yahtzee.
Carla said, you know what's crazy is I have never had a bad runner.
That's what you just said.
Oh shit, my bad. I'm behind. Yep. It's time to go. Final thought, Macho. What's up? Final thought, Macho.
My final thought is very, very clear, very concise. Mr. Officer, don't put your motherfucking hands on me, okay? Don't put your hands on no motherfucking body. Your job is to protect and to motherfucking serve the people. And when you get the people to trust you, you gotta do your fucking job. Nobody ever should experience getting pulled over and losing their fucking life. Ever.
Traffic violence.
Ever. That should never even be an option. No mom should have to bury their child and even go through that, like, at the hands of the fucking people that you're supposed to be trusting to protect you and serve you. That's my final thought.
My final thought is let this shit just be consistent and fair across the board. Stop making differences between how we treat black criminals, black cops, white criminals, and let's just be consistent across the board. I think that's the way that police departments are going to gain respect from the community, is if you don't make a difference. When you make a difference, you create a difference. So just be consistent and train these motherfuckers. Train them in cultural sensitivity. Train them in de-escalation. How is it that you can start at 100%? You're not going to go down. You're already there. So
Don't
just
train them to kill.
don't train them to
Just
kill. Don't give them a license to just be an asshole. If you're going to create a special unit, then give them sensitivity training. Give them interpersonal skills that they can implement while they're out there trying to do their job. It's retarded to send a rookie of 2 years out on a special unit to combat high crime and think that he's going to know what the fuck to do. That little hoe ass 6 months of police academy don't train these niggas to be sensitive. Don't train these niggas to de-escalate. De-escalation is a new principle. Duty to intervene is a new principle. Don't put these motherfuckers out on the street untrained, and you won't have these untrained responses.
And on that note, we appreciate y'all tuning in to Excuse My Truth podcast with Mac and Macho. We'll see y'all next week, my baby. Yahtzee.
Peace.
Warning.
You are now tuned in to 7 Mile Radio. 7